Joining us right now, we do have from DetroitLions.com, Mike O'Hara. Welcome to the show, Mike O'Hara.
Hey, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Hey, Mo.
2 days in a row. I mean, are you officially a band member?
After tonight he will be when I have him on again. So it.
Are you kidding me?
It happens.
I'm wearing
You've been practicing, right, Mike?
Darren, listen, I'm wearing my bandana and my latex slacks. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what committed, man. Next thing you're gonna put the face paint on and be blocking up front. But tell us about. Obviously, we talked about it yesterday. But Penei Sewell going number 7. Obviously, the way that the Detroit Lions draft room reacted and all the fans reacted, I think we got the right guy.
Yeah, you saw that, guys. Because I was going to mention it in case you didn't. You know, we talked yesterday, what I said yesterday, and I really believed it at the time, that Penei Sewell was the Detroit Lions guy at 7, but I thought he would go to Cincinnati at 5. At least I did for, 6-8 weeks. I've got a pal down there who works in the Bengals website, and he was convinced until about, 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon that it was Penei Sewell going to Cincinnati, and which would make sense.
Yeah.
The best tackle in the draft, protecting your young quarterback, who got injured in the 10th game last year. He got sacked 32 times in 10 games. Sack number 32 put him out for the season. And then all of a sudden things started to change, and the next thing you know, they're hot on Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU, which is a terrific pick. And you can debate which is better for Cincinnati, but that's what they end up doing. And it's then for the Detroit Lions and the people in that draft room. There's sometimes when time just stands still when you want the clock to tick faster, and there are times when the clock ticks faster when you want to stand still. And it was both of those yesterday as the Lions were waiting that 20 minutes, 10 minutes, for Cincinnati to make its pick, and then 10 minutes for Miami, for Cincinnati to make its pick, and then 10 minutes for Miami to make its pick before it's the Lions' chance. And you can see they're just sitting there sweating. They wanted Penei Sewell. It's not that they didn't have any good options, but this was the best option. And that just release of emotion and tension and the buildup of joy when they got that pick, it was really cool to watch.
Mike, you have in your column that you put out for today on DetroitLions.com, you put the O-line went from good to top 5 status. Tom Mazaway said they went from a B+ to an A. Explain to him how you have them going to a top 5 status, which I love.
Well, it's top 5 in the league, and I think it could be even a little bit better than that. But it's certainly in a range that's more than good enough. Excuse me. I thought they had a pretty good offensive line by the end of last season. Need a little bit of help on the right side, and one way or another they were going to get it either in free agency, which they really didn't this year. They've been pretty active in free agency on the offensive line in past seasons, but they really weren't this year, or get it through the draft. And Penei Sewell, I mean, it's just remarkable what this young man has accomplished already in his life. But he's as you all know, he grew up in a small village near Pago Pago in America Samoa. His family came here when he was 12 years old because they recognized the ability that he had. His father's a football coach. Ends up at University of Oregon, plays 2 years, sits out last year because of the pandemic, and now here's a kid with a big contract, can take care of his family, and a tremendous football player who has everything you want. He's got the tangibles, he's got the tangibles, the intangibles, and the unthinkables. Mm-hmm. He's just an absolutely a diamond, not even a diamond in the rough, but a gleaming diamond gem for this football team.
That's awesome, man. You're making me smile. It's the Moose. It's the Dean. It's Mike O'Hara joining us.
When he says it nice like that, what, you're just going to accept
I love Mo can always talk me off a cliff, but I want to talk about this, Moose. Let's say since he did take Sewell, would the Lions have traded back, or would they have taken a wide receiver?
That's a great question. Brad Holmes, the general manager. By the way, I loved his reaction after this. He's talking to the kid on the phone. We love you. And he hands the phone over to the head coach, and he goes over and he's pounding his fists on a table nearby. That's how jacked he was. Hey, look, this is his first time flying a 747. It's his first pick. He landed it safely, okay? Even more than safely. So I understand the emotion. But he said there were 3 players that they were choosing from. He used the word cluster in his last press session with us. And I don't know exactly who they were, but I'm sure one was Jamar Chase, one was obviously Penei Sewell, and I think the third one was probably my fallback guy, which would have been Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle from Northwestern. Now, I don't know that, but I would think that's who it was. And all of them good choices, plus number 4 would be a trade down choice. That's probably the one you don't want to do at this stage because you want the player you want. Well, they got the player they want.
The only thing I have a problem with, and it's not a problem, it's just me as being a fan of this team for a long time. Just they had a very good offensive line. So ideally, yeah, this guy is the best in the draft. I understand that. But Slater can't be that much worse than him. And then you have a guard at USC that the Jets wound up trading up to get that you like very much, and Vera Tucker. I just think
Vera Tucker, yeah.
I think they asked for too much. I wish they would have traded down, gotten one pick even, one lousy pick extra, and taken one of those 2 guys. That's my only issue.
Well, I wouldn't have taken Vera Tucker as good as he is. I would want somebody out there on the edge protecting the quarterback. And in this day and age, it used to be, like the left tackle was the prime position, and it still is. And I'm going back to the days, and when Lomas Brown was played 18 years in the NFL, 11 of them here in Detroit. As good a pass protector as you're going to see. 7 Pro Bowls, all of that. But the way defenses are set up now, you get pressure off the right side just like you do off the left side. And if you can't protect the quarterback, the right tackle position, look what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Couldn't protect the quarterback because of
guys.
injuries. And you're looking at the same issue at right tackle as you are at left tackle. Now maybe it's just a little less pronounced, but it's there and it's real, and you've got to have that side shored up.
Mike, one of the things that Tom Mazaway astutely brought to my attention was a tweet of yours yesterday at 8:49 p.m. that was really, because what I always say that you're the dean or whatever, you've seen the most, you've been around, and you tweeted out having covered every NFL draft since 1977, nothing matches the late rise of Trey Lance to Number Street.
Wow.
Congratulations to this young star, well deserved. Can you elaborate on that more? Because that was the one that what San Francisco did up till late to be able to take him, and I would assume that was their plan all along. But can you talk about that? Maybe compare it to somebody that you would put it in the hype train in the past drafts.
Well, if you just look at yesterday's draft, the first 2 players taken were quarterbacks. One was, of course, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, team that plays for national championships every year in football. The number 2 pick, he comes from Zach Wilson from Brigham Young, which used to be quarterback U years ago. It hasn't quite been that lately, but it's a noted semi-major program. Yep. And here's a kid from North Dakota State, where my sister used to live, by the way. And
she was a Bison.
That's brutal.
She was.
So-called Mike's sister.
No. Oh yeah. You don't know Judy Cooper like I do. Trust me. It does start with a B anyway.
I know she bossed you around. That I know.
Oh yeah, but anyway, here's a kid who wasn't. The only schools that really of any note that recruited him wanted him to play safety or wide receiver or something like that. They didn't see him as a quarterback because, no, I want to play quarterback. Well, you know what they said to him? Well, go ahead, somewhere else. So he ends up at North Dakota State, which is okay. I mean, he makes his choice. They make theirs. That's fine. I think he plays 2 games as a freshman, throws 1 pass, goes 1 for 1, plays all 16 or 17 or 18, depending on how many were in the playoffs in 2019, and the kid is absolutely great. What do you have, like 28 touchdown passes, no interceptions, 14 rushing touchdowns, absolute stud player on, a smaller college program, but nonetheless it's a noted program in the realm it competes in. And then the whole school doesn't play. They play 1 football game last year. They take the rest of the season off because of the pandemic. So he's got no real ability to build a career. But look at what he had shown already, and that was enough for the scouts to at least get him into the conversation on where he fit in the draft. And at every step, that every team that met him, he took a step up. Like maybe late first round, maybe middle of the draft, to all of a sudden, wow, we got something here. And that's when the San Francisco 49ers traded their 3 first-round draft picks to get that 3rd pick. And the next thing you know, here's the kid. Now they really like him. Not only they like him, they love him. Goodbye, Mac Jones. Goodbye, Justin Fields. Hello. And here's the kid. I've never seen anything like it. Now look, Barry Sanders drafted 3rd overall in 1989. Heisman Trophy winner, probably the greatest college running back in the history of football. But this kid is different. This is different from a completely different starting point. And the only thing now is the same. It's the finishing point, at least for the start of his career. And to me, like I said, I've never seen anything like it. And just the way he handled everything, just bubbled. The personality came out. He's got the personality and the smarts to match the athletic ability. Just to me, look, watching him walk onto that stage and give Roger Goodell, the commissioner, the high five and the hug, man, that was real. That was not, hey, mom, look at me. That was from the heart, from the soul, from everything you want.
That's funny you mentioned that, because it's the absolute opposite impression I got from Justin Fields. Sitting at home, sort of, we were wasting his time. But how important is it? And there's a bunch of different players in this draft, but the teams that they went to, because Trey Lance going to the 49ers with Shanahan, obviously Garoppolo's still there, so not having somebody to learn behind. But how important is system for this guy, that he went to the right team?
Well, this is true for any player, but it's more truer, if that is such a phrase, is more truthful, more truer. I can hear the old high school teachers at Pershing High wincing again on that one, but it's more important for a quarterback than it is for any other position. And you know what? More careers are derailed by bad organizations and bad coaching than are made by good coaching and good organizations. They contribute more to the failure rate than they do to the success rate, and that's nobody's really fault. That's just the way it is, and it's hard to develop quarterbacks. But here's a kid who's going to a noted quarterback building guru in Kyle Shanahan, raised by his father, Mike Shanahan, who really basic same thing. Those genes, are passed on from father to son. I mean, Mike Shanahan won two Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos, and he was on the staff at San Francisco with great players there too. So I just think it's critically important for him, and Shanahan will know how to handle him, how to bring him along, and he'll play him when it's time to play him. Like you said, Garoppolo was still their quarterback, but he didn't say he's their quarterback forever. And obviously, everybody knows it's not going to be forever, and it's probably not going to be for long.
Right. Mike, let's take a look at what we can expect tonight and tomorrow. In your column, you have a quote from Dan Campbell saying, he's somebody, regarding Penei Sewell, he's somebody you can build a team around, and that's exactly why we got him. That's some strong words to say about one player that you're taking overall. What are you expecting them to do tonight with their pick?
Well, I expect every team, every general manager of all 32 teams, every head coach of all 32 teams to say at some point when one of the players they're drafting in the second and third rounds. The Lions have 1 second-round pick, 2 third-round picks. One of those players that gets drafted, likely you're going to hear the general manager or the head coach say, "We had him rated in the first round." And you know what? You know what I mean? They said that about Ashawn Robinson. Okay. 5 years ago, which was it was Bob Quinn's first draft. That was a really, really good draft. You can go back and look at it, but you'll hear that you're going to get guys who, for some reason, of the 32 players who were drafted in the first round last night, maybe 26.5 of them were really legitimate first round picks. The other 5.5, I'm trying to act like I'm smart here, but the other 5.5 of them were guys who got moved up because of need, which is really one of the most dangerous things to do as a personnel executive, is taking players because of need, because quite often you're seeing something in them to help you that might not really be there in the long run. In other words, they're inferior athletically, talent-wise, whatever it is. So you'll see that. You're going to see guys that you're going to see players like maybe Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Ole Miss, legitimate first-round ability, and there's there's 8 or 9 others or 10 or 11 others just like him that really are first-round talent, but for some reason get shuffled down to the second round. You know what? It could be because of injuries. It could be because of maybe something happened late in their last season playing, whatever reason. But now all of a sudden you got a chance to get them and get value for that pick.
Mike O'Hara joins us, DetroitLions.com. Just go back to last night. The trade started at 10. Once those 2 defensive backs came off the board, the Cowboys said, man, let's get out of this pick. And what do? They screw the Giants, and they trade with the freaking Eagles. Eagles move up and get Devontae Smith, who the Giants wanted. Then the Giants said, the hell with this. I'll trade back 10 picks. They wind up getting a receiver late. But that's where it all starts. But the Bears move up, and they get their next Mitch Trubisky in Justin Fields. What's your take on the Bears now starting over with Justin Fields and those other deals I was talking about?
Well, I'll start with one thing about Mitchell Trubisky, and I think that the Bears mishandled it badly. And and I'm sure rightfully so, they shouldn't have drafted him second overall. They took the wrong guy. But once they got him, he won games for them. Well, they were 11-5 one year, made the playoffs. They were 8-8. They start out 5-0, and they bench him. You kidding me? Are you crazy? But here's the issue now with Justin Fields from Ohio State. He's coming to the Bears from Ohio State, one of the most stable athletic programs in the country at everything, in every sport they have. They're one of the best. He's going to the Chicago Bears, who have a great history. They're a foundational franchise in the National Football League, dating back to when George Halas founded the National Football League with the Decatur Staleys. They've been a mess. They've had some good days, some good seasons, some bad seasons. But here they are now. They've got a head coach and a general manager who are hoping to save their jobs with this quarterback, and which is okay. Everybody wants to keep working. I get that, but this is a move that is made more out of desperation than something that's been carefully thought out and planned. As opposed to carefully thought out, it was probably the GM and the coach going, "Hey, look, man, we got to save our skin here. Okay, quit, do something, do anything." I like living here in Chicago. I like making this money. So. That to me that's the difference, regardless of the player himself. It's just the situation they're in, and like I said, bad situations, bad management, torpedo quarterbacks more than it elevates them the other way around.
And how about the team that didn't even have to move? I mean, the rich get richer. I mean, Bill Belichick with his dog at the computer last year could have made this pick. How the hell did they get Mac Jones sitting at 15 with their thumb up their ass? How?
Tommy, did your mother ever hear you talk like that?
Yes, they know. And I'm sorry, but I'm pissed.
Somebody wrap this man on the knuckles, okay? I'm shocked.
Sorry.
How did they? You know what? It's experience. They're patient, and they didn't.
Harris has got 2
what would you say? Maybe around 9 or around 10. Like, I'll go back to my old analogy. Sometimes the clock ticks faster than you want it to. Sometimes it ticks slower. Bill Belichick knows it ticks once every second for 60 seconds. And then there's another minute and another minute. And he just sat there, and he's not bluffing. He's not anything. He's just playing the percentages. And he's looking you in the eye, and he goes, "Thank you very much," as he picks up all your black chips and puts them in his pocket and walks home.
Yeah,
okay?
And he walks away.
Even the dog is smart. And even the dog is smarter than the guy that he just fooled. Okay,
it is. It's unbelievable, man. I just don't. They're playing chess. The freaking Lions are playing checkers. I mean, it's just. And I know it's different now. It's a new regime, but that would never, ever happen to the Lions.
Back in the day, quit living in the past. It could be the new regime.
By the way, Drew Lane says hi. He loves you, and he wanted me to ask you something old, so just so he knows I'm paying attention to something. But I'm not going to ask you anything old anymore. I just wanted to tell you he said hello.
Something old. I'm old, okay? I appreciate it.
Hey, Mo, thanks for coming on with us, man.
I want to go from old to older, okay?
Yeah, we want you to.
Hey, that's why you're getting in grinder and you got your rock gear on right now. Go crash out those 3 chords, bro. Keep practicing. We'll get you on stage soon.
Right, and you can go.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
I would say, Mike, you can go from old to older, but you can never grow up.
I don't want to. I'm sort of like I'm the modern Peter Pan. I'll tell you what. When I go surfing through that mosh pit, I'm not coming out.
You got her, buddy.
Oh, I forgot. Is Aaron Rodgers going anywhere?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Where do I think he's going to go?
Yeah, is he going anywhere?
I think he's going to go to Green Bay. That's where he's going to go.
Me too.
Oh, you think he stays?
I do too.
I think he stays.
Oh.
You know what? He's going to pout and all that. He's going to go, hey, wait a minute. Where am I going to make another $38 million? I think I better play for Green Bay.
Right.
Good choice, Mo.
That's his Jeopardy question.
That's
what
right.
Is $38 million? My salary.
I love it. Hey, we'll talk to you Monday. I just booked you for Monday.